Hey guys, Diane Burrows here from Bird Supplies, and welcome to my kitchen. Hey, today I'm going to talk with you about how I make chop for my birds each and every morning. So why is chop so important? Now, in the wild, our parrots are from tropical areas where there's, rich plant-based foods all around them. And their parents spend a great deal of time teaching them which foods are healthy and safe and which ones to stay away from. We're talking a great deal of time. That's a really important skill for them to learn. This is why our birds are so hesitant to try new things, is because instinctually they need to be taught what to eat. And we'll talk about that in a little bit. But vets are going to recommend that we try to replicate those diets, the rich base of plant-based foods. They want a lot of vets will encourage, between 40 and 60% of the diet being pellets, a good, nice pellet, and then the rest being these fresh, raw, plant-based foods. So whether it be seeds, veggies, fruits, flowers, herbs, nuts, oils, that sort of thing. There's a variety of foods that each adds a little different twist of nutritional content that your bird needs in order to have all of their systems working properly and their feathers grow in beautifully. So let me tell you about my routine. I make chop for my flock of 4 each and every day. My flock consists of kiwi, a little green cheek conure over here, 2 African gray parrots, and a Moluccan cockatoo named Peachy. You've probably seen him in some of my videos. So anyway, I do this every morning, and I try to add about 30 different ingredients each day, and I vary them up from one day to the next. So how do I do that? Well, it only takes me about 10 minutes because I've established this routine. And one of the best investments I ever made in developing my bird chop and getting it down to a quick method is to invest in a manual food processor that I got on Amazon. You can get these in various sizes. They're only like 13 bucks. It's the best investment I've ever made. It's 3 parts, so it's very easy. Cleanup is very easy. You got your lid, and then this thing that's got like 3 different blades that just fits in here, sets in there. And when you put your lid on, you kind of shut it, and you can pull it, and it spins those blades and chops the food into nice, fine, rice-sized pieces, or however big you want your chunks. I like rice-sized pieces, and I have experimented around with my flock of how big the chunks are. My green cheek, of course, wants the smaller pieces. But what I have found is that the smaller the pieces, when I get it closer to rice size, my birds don't pick out their favorite foods and throw the rest on the floor. They actually eat it all. It has kind of a uniform color, a uniform flavor, a uniform texture. And so each and every mouthful, they're getting some of, at least several of those 30 ingredients. And so not only does it boost their nutrition and reduce food waste, but, it's just a snap to make for me with this little device. So here's what I start out with. I start out with some sprouting seeds. Our brand, Unruffled RX, we offer sprouting bird seeds that has 13 different varieties of seeds in there. And you can either soak them for a couple of hours or sprout them. So soaking can take anywhere. You could soak from 4 to 6, 8 hours. Sometimes I'll soak them completely overnight. Other times I'll sprout them for 2 or 3 days. And I'll have another video on how I sprout. But I only do about 2 or 3 tablespoons at a time. I've been soaking these for a couple of hours, and they're ready to put into my chop recipe. And so here we've got 13 ingredients. And like I said, I wanted approximately 30 ingredients in here. Now I've got a range of vegetables. And if, in the summertime, when the farmer markets are busy and stuff, I like to get fresh as much as possible. I don't like to buy whole broccoli, crowns and, huge amount, because we don't go, we end up throwing a lot of it away. So it's perfectly fine to use freeze-dried or frozen. So this is a base of frozen mixed vegetables that has, corn, carrots, beans, peas, but I've also added riced cauliflower in there. Sometimes I'll add riced sweet potatoes. This has some apples in here, beans, legumes, broccoli's in here, soybeans, I think, and, just a huge variety of stuff. So I think there's probably about 10 ingredients right here. So I'll go ahead and toss that in to my bowl. I'm going to make sure I get that riced cauliflower out of the bowl. Next, I want to make sure that my birds have, all the micronutrients that are available in herbs and flowers. So we have a herb tea mix here that can be either brewed into a tea, but I like to put it in my bird chop. It's got 7 different herbs that all have a little bit of calming properties, but each tea has a different range of nutrients in it, and so the more the merrier. And then in this little mix, I added about a tablespoon of the Serenity tea. And then I have a blend of bird safe flowers that I put in here. So now we are down up to about 10 or 13, 15. I'm up to about 20 ingredients now in this. And then I'm going to add some nuts. Birds really need the nuts, the nutrients and the minerals, and the nuts are really helpful for them. Each day, again, I spice it up a little different. Today I'm doing walnuts. Tomorrow I'll probably do pecans. The next day maybe almonds, so that we're not just giving them the same nutrients day after day. So we got another ingredient in here. I like to add the red palm oil or coconut oil, one or the other, not both. It only takes really kind of a dab. So this is what I would feed, for put in the mix for my 4 birds. And I'll probably get about 2 days worth of bird chops so 8 servings per se. Have a few little seeds here that I want to add. If I want, I can add some of our Omega Glow in here. That would be another 3 ingredients, which includes, flaxseed, chia, and hemp. Those are all super nutritious foods too. So when I'm done with this, let me make sure that I've got that red palm oil so that it's going to get stirred up once I start mixing this. And red palm oil is a little bit messy, but I'll tell you what, it is so darn nutritious. It melts at about 95 degrees. So if your vegetables are warmed up, it'll make that red palm oil mix up real good. It liquefy and mix up real good. So then I'll just cool this about 30 times, literally. But you can see I can do it really fast. But look at this, just that amount of stirring it, if you will, cutting it up, chopping it up. Look how tiny that is. I've got some pretty small pieces. And again, I would probably chop it up a little bit more because, again, the colors are going to pick out their favorite stuff. And we don't want them picking out their favorite stuff. We want them to eat everything so that they can get as much nutrition as possible. Now, once I'm done with that, really all I do is I figure out how much I'm going to feed each bird. So when I'm serving up those portions, I think about my bird's crop size. So Kiwi, is just a little green-cheeked Tanya. She's right over here. And I think I'll just feed her about maybe a teaspoon in her little dish. She likes her stuff in a little dish here. And she's a pretty good eater. I would normally chop it up a little bit more because there's a whole soybean in there. I believe that's a soybean. Now, Peachy, on the other hand, he really gobbles up the chop. In fact, my bigger birds that we have in another room, they're used to getting their chop each and every day, and they'll actually holler at me, and they're like, they're going, chow, 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 chow. And they say it over and over again until I get down there to feed them their chop. But Peachy, I'm going to he's a cockatoo, and I'm going to give him, 2 to 3 tablespoons of the chop. When it's chopped up like rice, like I said, I go down to their room and find that they have just cleaned up everything. There's not a mess. It's not all over the walls anymore. He gets, it's really nice when you chop it up in those smaller pieces. So anyway, that's how I make my bird chop. Now, if you're having trouble getting your bird to eat vegetables, remember that mom and dad are teaching them for a long time which foods to eat. And so you need to actually work with them and teach your bird what to eat. But I've got an easy video that you might want to check out. It's called 9 Ways to Get Your Bird to Eat Vegetables. And I'll put a link to it down in the show notes. Now, I really appreciate you watching my video today. I would love it if you would make some comments about what your bird's favorite vegetables are and how you might be able to envision yourself making this kind of bird chop. As you can see, it was only just a few minutes. Then if you wouldn't mind subscribing to my channel, I'd really appreciate it, because that's what gives me the motivation to make some of these educational videos for you. And I will have a little discount code for you in a sister blog that you can read to get all the information on how to make this bird chop. And I appreciate you watching the video, and have a great day.